Everything's under control. Sorry, folks.
And our next question comes from CSRS. Do you think the 4D theater attractions like the DreamWorks Theater are outdated, or do they still have a place in theme parks? What do you think about this, Dre? This kind of like, this 4D theater thing was sort of spearheaded, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Disney got on board with it. Michael Eisner did this many times for Disney parks. Universal does it, and they have done it in the past as well. What do you think? Do you think the 4D theater attraction is a thing of the past, or is there a place for these kind of attractions?
It's I think there is a place. It just depends on what place you're talking about, really. I would only ask a question in retort to this one, which is, where does CSRS actually come from? Does it come from, maybe a more Disneyland perspective, or maybe a more Walt Disney World perspective? Because as we know, theater attractions at Disneyland, they kind of run their course pretty quick. And one of the reasons why that is because you do have so many locals that pop in who have seen the rides and shows a billion times. And this is one of the big reasons why I think the company is looking towards attractions that, if they're going to be theater or projection heavy, maybe have some rewritability attached to them. Star Tours is the perfect example, where it's pretty much a different ride every time. And I think that's the direction that they wanna go. As far as 4D theater attractions, I think they work better in Walt Disney World, simply because you got people who come in there, so many more than Disneyland. People who come in there for once a year, once every 5 years, once in a lifetime. And I think those attractions have always played out there much better than over here at Disneyland. I remember when Disney California Adventure was installed in 2001. We got It's Tough to Be a Bug. Yeah. We got Calafia. We got all these kind of theater shows.
Muppet Vision.
Yeah, Muppet Vision, and it was cost effective, and they were cool to see. At least on the West Coast, but even then they were kind of years old, and they didn't last very long in terms of that that capacity that I think that draw that I think Paul Presser and everybody else was looking for. I'll say this: I think it is good to have attractions that maybe not, they're kind of theater attractions where people can kind of get out of the sun and kind of, walk into an attraction where they don't have to wait necessarily a long time and kind of see something real fast and get out. I do think there is a place for that in specific venues and specific areas, specific locations. But as far as we're going to clear out this attraction, that attraction, and make a 4D theater attraction, at least at Disneyland, I think that's done. In my personal opinion, I think the theaters that we have are the theaters that will have, probably from now until infinitum, and they may be reduced as time goes on. At Walt Disney World, I think it's a little bit different of an equation. I don't think they're in a rush to get rid of their theater attractions. Obviously, will more pop up? Possibly, but maybe done in a way that makes them fresher than previous theater attractions that we've seen.
Yeah, and you also have to think too. There's an ever-changing landscape with movie theaters in general.
Yeah,
a lot of theaters now, because of the streaming war and more people kind of staying home, they're offering almost like theme park level experiences where seats vibrate, and it's very much like this, like a 4D theater experience. So with more of those kind of experiences across the nation now, like AMC, Cinemark, all these companies doing similar things. Does a Disney theme park need one of those when they're so commonplace now? Right. So that's another question, I think, that is okay, it's becoming increasingly less and less unique of an experience. So I agree with you. I think especially here at Disneyland Resort, I think the theaters we have now are the theaters that we'll have. And then once they demolish those, because I think the Muppet Theater in Hollywoodland will eventually go away. They're going to end up putting something back there. And that's it. They're not going to replace that theater, or what is it now? PhilharMagic, I think.
PhilharMagic, yeah.
Once that's gone, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. They're not going to put another theater.
You're absolutely right about that. The changing landscape in terms of like the what is the home theater experience, right? It's much more massive than it was back in the day. I mean, you can outfit yourself with a complete kind of Dolby surround package, right? A Dolby Atmos package and Vision and so forth, and get yourself to be, get yourself to have an incredible theater experience at home. So,
right.
If they do go 4D, it would have to be, I think it would have to be something pretty revolutionary, not so dissimilar to maybe, the old Alien Encounter that that played at Magic Kingdom for so long. Maybe not on the same frightening terror level, but something where you really can't replicate at home, something that's really unique and that stands the test of time a little bit better than the traditional 4D experiences that we think about today.
Yeah, 100%. And I think now with technology like projection mapping and things like that, and we've heard even rumors of like black box attractions that where Disney can constantly swap out IP or update attractions. I think the days of the 4D theater are kind of numbered, because if you can do a black box attraction where, for a season, it's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and then for the next season, it's Moon Knight, right? You can easily swap out the projections and what have you. The need for a 4D theater becomes less and less, because one of the attractive elements of a 4D theater is the versatility. It can one day it can be this, next day it can be that. Well, if they can start building attractions now that can swap out just as easily, then why even have the 4D theater? You might as well make that black box attraction. So it's interesting. There's a lot of variables here. It's fascinating. We'll see how the future of these things go, but fascinating. Well, thank you so much for the question. That was a really, really good one.
Sector 2. Malfunction in Sector 2. All droids will be shut down for reloading of labor programs. Stand by for power disconnect.